Welcome to High School Challenge 2013 here at Tompkins Cortland Community College. We've been doing this for 36 years, and we're really happy to have you here with us today, and glad to have the two teams we have here, Elmira Southside from down Route 17 and Greene from up northish. Actually, it's south from here. It's north from where I live. Let's meet the team from Greene and their captain, Zach Sorensen. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Zach.
My name is Zach Sorensen. I'm from Greene, New York. I'm a senior. I intend to study computer sciences at Binghamton University.
I'm Lindsay Brown, and I'm a junior, and when I go on to college, I intend to study something in the field of biology.
I'm Kira. I'm from Greene, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Matthew, also from Greene, sophomore.
Yeah, I think they're probably all from Greene, surprisingly enough. The coaches of Greene are this year's first-year coaches, Bethany Cutting and Tracy Wood. Clap, 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 clap. Now let's meet the team from Elmira Southside and their captain, Ryan Mason.
I'm Ryan. I'm a junior at Southside, and I play soccer.
I'm Patrick Soper. I'm also a junior, and I'm a Boy Scout, and I'm working towards my Eagle rank.
I'm Torin. I'm also a junior, and I enjoy bacon.
I'm Tyler Shara. I'm also a junior, and I like challenging things.
Okay, all junior team. They're coached by Tom Milliken. All right, teams, we know how the game is played. We start off with nothing but toss-ups in our first round, the easy ones, 5 and 10 pointers. Our first one is a 5-pointer. He spent much of his life outside England, with his brother ruling in his absence and reluctantly paying the ransom when he was captured. Who was this crusader, brother to King John?
Greene, Matthew.
King James.
I'm sorry, no. Can you take it Southside?
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
King George.
That was Richard I, the Lion-Hearted. For 10 points, about 1/6 of it consists of proline and 1/3 consists of glycine, which helps it form a stable triple helix. It can be processed to form gelatin. What is this most abundant protein in mammals, a major component of tendons, cartilage, bones, and skin? It is collagen that we're looking for there. For 5 points, you would find the diacritical mark called a tilde to be part of what letter in Spanish?
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
An enye.
An enye is correct for 5 points. Here's a 10-pointer. These particles were used to first detect the existence of nuclei in the gold foil experiment by Ernest Rutherford.
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
Alpha particles.
Alpha particles, what we're looking for 10. Here's another 10-pointer. January 20th, 1986 was the first national celebration of his birthday. Now that Washington and Lincoln's birthdays have been lumped together as President's Day, what Nobel Prize winner is the only U.S. citizen with a national holiday honoring?
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
That's correct, honoring him alone. For 5 points, beer is the second most popular beverage worldwide. What non-alcoholic drink is the most?
Greene, Zach.
Tea is correct for 5. Here's a 5-point visual, a brain buster. I want you to watch your monitor and tell me what word can directly precede these 3.
Elmira Southside, Pat.
A bank?
Bank is correct. For 5 points, this quantity is typically measured by titration with an indicator such as phenolphthalein. Computed as the logarithm of the number of hydrogen ions, what is this quantity that measures the acidity of a solution?
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
pH.
pH is correct. For 10 points, it is still the only U.S. state without a single national park, national memorial, national monument, or national historical park, but it does hold the positive distinction of having been the first state to ratify the Constitution.
Greene, Zach.
Delaware.
Delaware is correct for 10. Here's a 5-point math toss-up. I want to know, what is the y-intercept of the equation y equals the quantity 5x plus 13 divided by the quantity x minus 2? You have 5 seconds. I want the y-intercept of the equation y equals the quantity 5x plus 13 divided by the quantity x minus 2. Call time at the buzzer.
13 halves.
Sorry. Yes, it's correct.
Oh.
Yeah. I had to think about it. We have negative 6.5, but that's correct.
Okay.
All right, that brings us to the end of round 1. Tina, what's our score, please?
Elmira Southside, 35. Greene, 20.
All right, that means, Greene, you have first bid in the answer auction. I'm going to read the answer auction question for both teams now. 14 men have served the U.S. as vice president and then later as president. How many of them can you name? And we'll give you some time to think over your bids, your opening bid. And I will tell the folks at home that the team bidding the highest must then give the number of answers bid without giving an incorrect answer. If they do that, they get 40 points. If they're unable to do that, the other team needs to give just one correct answer not already given to earn 20 points. If they're unable to do that, then the original high bidder gets the 20 points. Okay, first bid. Greene, what's your opening bid?
2.
They bid 2. Will you go 3, Southside?
Yeah.
They go 3. Will you go 4?
No.
And let them have it for 3. Give me 3 men who served the U.S. as vice president and later as president. Captain, start your answer, please.
George H.W. Bush,
That's correct. That's 1.
John Adams,
That's correct. That's 2.
and Grover Cleveland.
Sorry, no. For 20 points, give me 1 correct answer they haven't already given me.
Richard
Zach?
Nixon.
Richard Nixon, yes. They are John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, John Tyler, Millard Fillmore, Andrew Johnson, Chester A. Arthur, Theodore Roosevelt, Calvin Coolidge, Harry Truman, Richard Nixon, Lyndon Johnson, Gerald Ford, George H.W. Bush. That brings us to the end of round 2. That's made a difference in the score. Tina, what's our score, please?
Greene, 40. Elmira Southside, 35.
All right, only 5 points separating the two teams. We'll be coming back with toss-ups and bonuses in our next round on TC3's High School Challenge 2013. Tina, is that score official?
Yes, it is, Brooks. Greene, 40. Elmira Southside, 35.
All right, very, very close as we go into round 3. If you answer a toss-up in this round correctly, then you get a chance for your team for a 20-point bonus. Our first bonus is in the category evolution. Here's the toss-up for 10. 2 net ATP molecules and 2 NADH molecules are produced by its conversion to 2 molecules of pyruvate, and its conversion to fatty acids is facilitated by insulin. What is this 6-carbon monosaccharide that forms sucrose with fructose?
Greene, Zach.
Glucose.
Glucose is correct for 10. Here's your evolution bonus, Greene. I want you to identify the following from the descriptions I give you. First, he authored On the Origin of Species after research in the Galapagos Islands.
Charles Darwin.
Charles Darwin is correct for 5. This precursor of Darwin theorized that organisms change to adapt to their surroundings. Captain, your answer?
Pass.
The answer is Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. A key idea in the early development of the theory of evolution was this concept proposed by Lyell in Principles of Geology, which states that geologic processes acting in a constant way have developed Earth.
Pass.
That is uniformitarianism. And finally, for 5 points, Stephen Jay Gould and Niles Eldredge proposed this extension of the theory of evolution, stating that evolution occurs mostly in rapid periods of change separated by long periods of stability.
Pass.
The answer is punctuated equilibrium.
5 bonus points.
Next bonus category, next bonus category is French literature. This toss-up to get us there for 10 points. In November 2011, President Obama declared he would veto any attempt to stop it. In February of this year, he claimed it would result in massive layoffs in the government.
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
Sequestration.
Sequestration is correct. That's what we were looking for. And here's your bonus in the category French literature. I want you to name the French authors of these classic works. First, for 5 points, Candide.
Voltaire.
Voltaire is correct. Les Miserables.
Voltaire.
That's Victor Hugo. The Count of Monte Cristo.
Alexandre Dumas.
I'm going to prompt on that, more specific.
Lord Alexandre Dumas.
I'm sorry? I can't accept it. It's, there were two Alexandre Dumas. One was the father, the other was the son. So it was Alexandre Dumas, father, père. The Stranger, finally.
Voltaire.
The Stranger was Albert Camus.
5 bonus points.
Board games, the category of the next bonus. Here's the toss-up for 10. Suzanne Carbone, Edward Albee, Eugene Ionesco, Harold Pinter, Tom Stoppard, and Samuel Beckett are all playwrights associated with what 20th century dramatic form? It's called the Theater of the Absurd. For 10 points, still playing for that bonus in board games. For 10 points, Hong Kong reverted from British control to Chinese in 1999. The same year, Macau was turned over to China by which European nation?
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
France.
Not France. Can you take it, Greene?
Greene, Zach.
Great Britain.
It was Portugal. Still playing for that bonus no one wants in board games. For 10 points, it's also known as the Smurf turf, with the main field being bright blue and the end zones orange. It's the home field of what university?
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
Boise State.
Boise State is correct, Ryan, for 10. And a chance at this board games bonus. It was originally called the yacht game because it was invented by a Canadian couple on their yacht. What is this classic game that combines dice and poker?
Yahtzee.
Yahtzee is correct. Created in France in 1957, it was known as La Conquête du Monde. There are 19 different versions of what game of world domination, including Star Wars and Lord of the Rings editions?
Risk.
Risk is correct. Originally known as Broadside, the game of naval strategies, it has board game and electronic versions under what name?
Battleship.
Battleship is correct. And finally, invented in 1934, what game of finance has spaces based on the layout of Atlantic City, New Jersey?
Monopoly.
Monopoly is correct. Ran the category, well done.
20 bonus points.
Civil War generals, the category of the last bonus. And here is the toss-up to get us there. For 10 points. On May 4th, 1493, as part of the Treaty of Tordesillas, he drew a line of demarcation 100 leagues west of the Azores, giving Spain the rights to colonize most of the Western Hemisphere. Who was he?
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
King Ferdinand.
Sorry, no. Can you take it, Greene?
Greene, Zach.
Who's Cortez?
He was the Pope, Pope Alexander VI. A math toss-up now leading to that bonus in Civil War generals. You buy a computer desk and pay $58.80 after a 30% discount and 5% sales tax have been applied in that order. What was the desk's original price? You pay $58.80, you get a 30% discount, and then 5% sales tax is added on to that. What's the desk's original price?
Elmira Southside, Torrin.
I'm sorry, no. Can you take it, Greene? Call time. The answer is $80. Still playing for that Civil War Generals bonus, this toss-up for 10 points, spell bargain.
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
Bargain.
That is correct. Here's your Civil War Generals bonus, Southside. Identify these general officers by the descriptions I give you. He had a lifelong belief that one of his arms was longer than the other and often raised the longer arm above his head to balance himself. He ate lemons as a cure for dyspepsia. One of the South's most revered commanders, he was shot by Confederate troops while on patrol near Chancellorsville and died of pneumonia a week later.
Stonewall Jackson.
That is correct. His property was commandeered for what would become Arlington National Cemetery. He led the Army of Northern Virginia in its most famous battles.
Robert E. Lee.
That is correct. When Ulysses S. Grant was made General-in-Chief, this man was commanding the Army of the Potomac. The U.S. Army fort in Maryland that is home to the National Security Agency is named for him.
Gates.
George G. Meade. And finally, he was a horrible student at West Point, but as a cavalryman became one of the youngest Union generals. His Civil War service isn't what he's famous for, however. He's best known for being massacred along with all his troops in June 1876.
Custer.
George Armstrong Custer is correct.
15 bonus points.
That brings us to the end of round 3, a well-played round. Tina, what's our score, please?
Greene 55, Elmira Southside 105.
All right, 50 points separating the teams now, with Elmira Southside having taken the lead. That means, Greene, you'll have first choice of the categories in this category round. The categories are A in biology, B in history, C in literature, and F in geography. You'll note that there are quotation marks around the A, B, C, and F. That means that all of the answers will start with A in the biology question, and B in the history question, and C in the literature question, and F in the geography question. So we'll be back to see which categories they choose and how well they do with the questions on High School Challenge 2013. Hi, welcome back. Tina, what's our official score, please?
Elmira Southside 105, Greene 55.
That means, Greene, you have first choice of the 4 categories. Zach, what are you choosing?
B in history.
B in history it is. Remember, all the answers will start with B. Ready with the timer? Start the timer, please. What Philippine island was the scene of an infamous World War II death march?
Baton.
Yes. Who sued the University of California Medical School for reverse discrimination in 1978?
Pass.
Whose Cuban dictatorship was overthrown by Fidel Castro?
Batista.
Yes. What one-time vice president planned to be king of his own country?
Pass.
What was the creek that ran through the site of the first major Civil War battle?
Pass.
Who in the first half of the 19th century invented the alphabet named for him?
Pass.
Who invented the blast furnace method of producing steel?
Bessemer.
Yes. What family produced a pope, a prince, and a famous poisoner in the 15th century?
Pass.
What conflict did 1899's Bloemfontein Conference precipitate?
Pass.
What 2 hills were involved in the famous 1775 Boston battle?
Pass.
Okay. So you picked up 1, 2, 3, 30 points. Chance to steal 70. Southside, I need immediate answers to these. Who sued the University of California Medical School for reverse discrimination in 78?
Brown.
It was Alan Bakke. What one-time vice president planned to be king of his own country?
Joe Biden.
Aaron Burr. No, definitely not. What was the creek that ran through the site of the first major Civil War battle? It was Bull Run. Who in the first half of the 19th century invented the alphabet name for him? Braille, Louis Braille. What family produced a pope, a prince, and a famous poisoner in the 15th century?
The Bernices.
The Borgias. What conflict did 1899's Bloemfontein Conference precipitate? The Boer War. And finally, what 2 hills were involved in the famous 1775 Boston battle?
Bunker Hill.
We need 2.
And Little Bunker Hill.
Okay, it was misnamed for Bunker Hill because they actually set up on Breed's Hill, which is where the battle was fought. Okay, you've got left A in biology, C in literature, and F in geography. What are you choosing, Ryan?
Geography.
The F in geography, okay. No, you would never get an F in geography, but remember that all of the answers will begin with F. Ready with the timer? Start the timer, please. Suva is the capital of which South Pacific island republic?
Fiji.
Yes. Which country owns Tahiti?
France.
Yes. The Gulf of Bothnia forms the western border of which country?
Pass.
Which Florida city houses the Swimming Hall of Fame?
Pass.
Under what blanket term were Chad, Gabon, the Congo, and the Central African Republic known before independence?
Federation.
No. What city of 350,000 is the center of California's raisin industry?
Fernando.
No. Which city shares an airport with Dallas, Texas?
Pass.
What was Mali called in 1950?
Figo.
No. Germany's Main and Oder rivers flow past two different major cities with which name? Same name.
Pass.
What's the third largest city in the Bahamas?
Falago.
Sorry, no. So you started out hot and cooled off rather rapidly. 20
Sounds
points,
Bahamian
chance to
or
steal
something.
80, Greene, if you can get these right. The Gulf of Bothnia forms the western border of which country?
Pass.
You are Finnish, right? Finland. Which Florida city houses the Swimming Hall of Fame?
Tampa.
Fort Lauderdale with an F. Under what blanket term were Chad, Gabon, the Congo, and Central African Republic known before independence? They were known as French Equatorial Africa. Which city of 350,000 is the center of California's raisin industry?
Fresno.
Fresno is correct. Which city shares an airport with Dallas, Texas?
Fort Worth.
That is correct. What was Mali called in 1950?
Pass.
Called French Sudan. Germany's Main and Oder rivers flow past two different major cities with which name?
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt is correct. And finally, what's the third largest city in the Bahamas?
Pass.
It is Freeport. Okay, you did well picking up questions in their category. Tina, what's our score after 4 complete rounds of play?
Elmira Southside 125, Greene 115.
So only 10 points separating the two teams as we move into our final round, which is nothing but toss-ups. Hundreds and hundreds of points available. We'll be back in a moment on TC3's High School Challenge 2013. Tina, what's our official score leading into the final round?
Elmira Southside 125, Greene 115.
Okay, so only 10 points separating the two teams, and plenty of points. As a matter of fact, we start off with a 15-pointer in this final round. Hands on buzzers, no consultation, here we go. While Yellowstone is popularly known as the U.S.'s first national park, it was actually the second. Congress proclaimed the Hot Springs Reservation in which state a national park way back in 1832?
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
Wyoming.
Sorry, no. Can you take it? Greene.
Greene, Zach.
Colorado.
Hot Springs Reservation's in Arkansas. For 15 points, British poet John Dryden first used the phrase "the noble savage" in a 1672 play, but the phrase is generally associated with which French philosopher and essayist, author of 1672's On the Social Contract?
So Elmira Southside, Ryan.
Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
Jean-Jacques Rousseau is correct for 15 points. For 10 points, approximately 800 of these are reported in the U.S. each year, causing 80 fatalities and 1,500 injuries, plus millions of dollars in property damage. What are these natural disasters whose severity is measured on the Fujita scale?
Elmira Southside, Tyler.
Tornadoes.
Tornadoes is correct, Tyler, for 10. For a 10-point audio toss-up, I want you to listen to this and name the vocal technique being employed.
Elmira Southside, Pat.
Yodeling.
Yodeling is correct. Thought we'd check and see if you were in touch with your hillbilly side. For 10 points, one section of it prohibits excessive bail. The 5th section makes it illegal to try someone for the same offense twice.
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
The Seventh Amendment.
I'll finish it. Its first section guarantees the right to assemble and the right to petition the government, as well as freedom of speech, the press, and religion. Name this document the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution.
Greene, Kira.
The Bill of Rights.
The Bill of Rights is correct for 10. Here's a 15-pointer. The number of divisors in this type of number must be even, because these numbers cannot be perfect squares. The first four, known to early Greek mathematicians, are 6, 28, 496, and 8,128. What are these numbers that are the sum of their proper divisors?
Elmira Southside, Torin.
Perfect numbers.
Perfect numbers is correct for 15. Al-Azizia for 10 points. Al-Azizia, Libya, and Vostok, Antarctica hold what world records respectively?
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
Hottest and coldest points.
Yes. Boy, I don't know. I don't think I can accept that. Greene, can you take it?
Highest and lowest recorded temperatures.
That's what we're looking for. And highest could refer to height, and that's why I can't accept that. When he said highest temperature, then I had to accept. For 15 points, first used by Fox Television in 1996 and called Fox Tracks, these high-tech gizmos sported a hidden microchip that helped viewers follow what pro sport more easily?
Elmira Southside, Pat.
Football?
Not football. Can you take it, Greene?
Baseball.
Have to buzz in.
Greene, Zach.
Baseball.
I'm sorry, no. Hockey. Ice hockey. For 15 points, his second novel, Midnight's Children, won the Booker Prize in 1981, but he became the center of controversy when his fourth novel provoked a fatwa from the supreme leader of Iran in 1989.
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
Salman Rushdie.
Salman Rushdie's who we're looking for. Well done, Ryan. For 15 points, this process ends when the nascent peptide is complete and the two subunits dissociate. What is this second step of protein synthesis in which a ribosome reads messenger RNA following transcription?
Greene, Kira.
Translation.
Translation is correct for 15. Here's a 10-pointer. Listen to this sentence. Rachel, who was the best student in the class, got a D on the quiz because she forgot to study for it. What word beginning with A describes the figure of speech in this sentence set off by commas? Rachel, who was the best student in the class, got a D on the quiz because she forgot.
Elmira Southside, Pat.
Illusion?
Sorry, no. Can you take it, Greene? Call time. The answer is that's an appositive or apposition. For 15 points, he reigned from 1926 until his death in 1989, a span that included Japan's involvement in World War II. He's known today in Japan by his posthumous name, Emperor Showa, but millions worldwide knew him
Elmira Southside, Ryan.
Hirohito.
as Hirohito, yes, for 10 points. While there appears to be no genealogical relationship between the Japanese language and this, Japanese borrows characters and vocabulary from which other language?
Greene, Lindsay.
Chinese.
Chinese is correct. For 10 points, this rock type includes andesite and periodite, as well as the material making much of the oceanic crust. Rhyolite, gabbro, basalt, and granite are examples.
Greene, Zach.
Igneous.
They're igneous rocks, that's correct. For 15 points, used in the Hall process to obtain aluminum, it's governed by two laws named for Faraday, which quantify mass produced from it as a function of the transferred charge. Name this process which drives a non-spontaneous chemical reaction using an electrical current, often used to separate water into gaseous hydrogen.
Greene, Zach.
Electrolysis.
Electrolysis is correct, and that brings us to the end of the match. Tina, what's our final score?
Elmira Southside, 205. Greene, 195.
Oh, very well played. An excellent match. I congratulate you. We'll be back to validate that score in a moment and say goodbye to our friends on TC3's High School Challenge 2013.
That's a
believe.
good thing you've got a mind for
How
that.
many
'cause-
years, Tina?
What?
Never
Oh, that
mind,
I
we're
don't
back.
know.
Here
I
we
don't
go.
know. 37, something like that.
No, it's 48. This is High School Challenge 2013. We are thankful to have had two great teams playing here today. They played very well. Final score, Tina?
Okay. Elmira Southside 205, Greene 185.
Okay, so 20 points separated the teams at the end. We thank you both for coming and competing. We look forward to seeing your next match, and we hope you'll be back with us on High School Challenge 2013. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.